They say money doesn't grow on trees. But what if your lunch did? No grocery stores, no farming, no cooking, just standing in the sun and fueling up like a leaf. At first, it sounds like a dream. No more hunger, no food bills, no stress over what's for dinner. But would it really be a perfect world? Or would it turn into something completely unexpected, maybe even terrifying? Let's dive deep into this radical idea, the science behind it. Plants are the ultimate survivalists. They've spent millions of years perfecting photosynthesis, converting sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide into energy. If humans could do the same, our bodies would need some serious upgrades. First, our skin would have to change. Right now, melanin protects us from the sun. But for photosynthesis to work, our skin would need chlorophyll, the green pigment in plants. This means we'd turn green, literally. And there's more. Photosynthesis isn't very efficient. Even the biggest, healthiest trees, standing in full sunlight all day, only produce around 200 calories per day. That's less than a single slice of bread. Humans, on the other hand, need at least 2,000 calories a day just to function. So, how would we bridge this massive energy gap? One solution? More surface area. Our skin would need to absorb way more sunlight, which means we'd either have wider, flatter bodies or even leaf-like structures growing from our arms. Strange? Yes, but necessary for survival. Or maybe we'd evolve a more extreme solution, becoming part plant, part human hybrids, where we rely on photosynthesis as a backup energy source rather than our primary one. How it would change our world. Let's say we did make it work. No one would go hungry again. Famine? A thing of the past. Countries wouldn't need massive farmlands to feed their people. Wars over food and water? Drastically reduced. But now, let's think about the economy. What happens when an entire $10 trillion global food industry collapses? Farming? Gone. No need for crops when people can just step outside for lunch. Grocery stores? Useless. Who needs to buy food when they can produce it themselves? Restaurants? Done for. Cooking would become an art, not a necessity. And this isn't just about food. Agriculture supports millions of jobs worldwide, from farmers to factory workers to delivery drivers. What happens to them? And then there's a cultural shift. Food is more than fuel. It's tradition, celebration, and identity. Would families still gather around dinner tables? Would birthday cakes disappear? What happens to comfort food, guilty pleasures, or the joy of tasting new flavors? Maybe we'd still eat, but only for pleasure, like how cats produce vitamin C, but still get it from their diet. Or maybe, slowly over time, the entire concept of eating would fade away. The dark side of photosynthesis. Before we get too excited, let's talk about the downsides. Ever seen a plant deprived of sunlight? It wilts. If humans relied on photosynthesis, what happens on cloudy days? What if you live in places like Norway, where winter means months of darkness? Would people in these regions be weaker, slower, and more vulnerable? And here's something wild. Plants don't need much energy because they don't move. Humans, on the other hand, do. A lot. Running, thinking, working, it all requires massive amounts of fuel. Would we start moving less, evolving into slower, less active beings just to conserve energy? Would we spend hours motionless in the sun, just like plants? And what about the ultraviolet radiation? With our bodies designed to absorb more sunlight, skin cancer risks would skyrocket. We'd have to balance sun exposure for food without getting fried to death. And let's not forget the weirdest part, our dependence on the sun. Right now, we can eat anytime, anywhere. But if photosynthesis powered us, we'd be slaves to daylight. Nighttime productivity, a struggle. Life in dark cities? a disaster? Would we end up structuring our lives around sunrise and sunset, like flowers that bloom in the morning and close at night? Would we even need to sleep anymore? Or would we just rest under the stars, absorbing the last bit of moonlight? Would it make us happier? Here's a bigger question. Would this make us happier? Think about it. No food stress, no farming, no starvation. Would we finally have time to focus on things that truly matter? More time with family, more energy to create, build, and dream? Or would we lose our drive? Without hunger, would humans still feel ambition? Would we still chase success, explore the unknown, or innovate? Because at the end of the day, hunger fuels progress. The need to survive, to hunt, to gather, to create. It's the reason civilizations even exist. Without it, would we become a passive, peaceful, but unmotivated species? The big question. So, is photosynthesis a gift or a curse? A world where hunger is wiped out forever? Or a future where humans stop striving for more? One thing's for sure, if we ever evolved to harness the power of the sun, we wouldn't just change how we eat. We'd change everything about what it means to be human. If you love mind-bending ideas like this, hit that subscribe button for more fascinating content. And tell me in the comments, would you want to photosynthesize